praise and worship team going to come play some music. It's going to be a good time for sure. Remember, that is April 19th at 11 a.m. starting at New Hope Christian Center, 941 Central Avenue, Newport, Kentucky. Check it out. Awesome. Well, today is Wednesday, the day after Tuesday, but before Thursday. Yes. Oh, day, Mike. It's so funny, man. Our one of the message on Sunday, Pastor played that commercial. Mike. That's so funny. Woo woo. If you know anything about that, anyway. It's so cool, so cool. I have no idea. So, what's the past couple of days been like for you, Miss Kay?
Oh, no, nothing really. Past couple of days. Yesterday, nothing. Yesterday, I did some work at home that I needed to do for the church. I got 3 messages uploaded on their SoundCloud yesterday, so that was super exciting. And I got 3 of our shows uploaded on SoundCloud yesterday as well.
Sweet.
So trying to work on our website, trying to get things going on with that. But really, other than that, it was just a chill day yesterday. So
yeah, it's super cool. Trying to get everything going, all of our social media stuff, and everything locked in with a firm foundation through Christ, you know.
Absolutely.
Figuring it all out. Let's see, what did I do yesterday?
Talked to Caleb about board hopping, so you know that was a cool thing.
With the CVG.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's gonna help out with the CVG. So, board up.
I have time, so fill my time.
Right. For sure. Oh, it's super cool. Yeah, yesterday I let's see, what did I do? I went and looked at the apartment. The apartment, that was kind of cool. And then I went to file modifications for child support. I went down to the.
You were supposed to call me back.
Yeah.
You never did.
Yeah.
See how important I am.
Excuse me. Now I went down to the clerk's office at the judicial building, and they somehow my name and social security number got associated with some other person, and it was just kind of a crazy little deal. So then I go to the child support office, and they're so willing to help you down there. We kind of got it figured out, but it was a journey for sure.
So you're not another baby daddy then? For sure.
No, definitely
okay.
not.
Okay,
definitely not.
That's a good thing. You don't need that headache.
I know.
I was like, I don't know how that works, but they're saying you're a baby daddy. That's what they're saying. Better figure that stuff out.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Super crazy. Oh man. Oh my goodness. But then I went to work. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't that good. We had a couple of parties, but other than that, it wasn't that busy. Made some okay cash, I guess. Went to food run again. That was always fun.
So what does that consist of, the food run?
Well, you take the food and you run it.
I mean, that's pretty much what I thought it was, but
no, basically, like in the back, you have like all these your different condiments that are set up, mayonnaise and balsamic vinaigrette and barbecue sauce, and, garlic aiolis, everything that would go on the side of garnishments and those types of things. So you have to make backups of those and make sure you have plenty stocked up, and polish all the silverware, make sure you got backups of those, put napkins on all the little at plates, and make sure the soups are filled, and keep all that going. And then once the tickets start rolling in, you kind of pull the food out of the window and set everything up and lay it on the deck for someone to run. Or I run it.
Or you run it.
Take it to the table where it's supposed to go. With those parties, it was kind of cool because they had set appetizers and It was basically, it was like you got boneless wings, spinach dip, and onion rings. So just go set one of each on each table. And the entire patio was full. So it was, we got busy there for a minute, but it was good. It was really good. It was
Isn't
fun.
it cold out there?
No, they've got heaters.
Okay.
They have heaters. It was cool. But, yeah, and then we had to rock, paper, scissors because two of us came in at the same time. So one of us, we don't have one closer. So rock, paper, scissors to see who's going to close. And then I lost.
You lost.
I lost, so I was stuck there for a little bit. But it was cool. It was a good. I never closed down before, so closed that area. So cleaning everything and making sure everything was done, folding lemons and stuff, all that.
Oh, so you got to stay enclosed. You take that as a loss. I was taking that as a win because that gave you extra hours on your
It was about
check.
an extra hour. It wasn't, but yeah, it wasn't.
I mean,
it wasn't bad. It was. I wasn't mad at it. I got a little extra pay for it, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty cool.
Learn all the aspects of how things go.
That's yeah, I'm learning for sure. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Moving forward. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't get home that late. It was like 11 something. I guess when I got home.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
wasn't
I
bad
was
at all.
snoring like crazy at 11 something. But, I get up before dawn, so.
Right, before Jesus and everybody.
Mhm. Makes it hard to stay up and do Bible study with Dion because normally that don't happen till after 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, dude, So, I don't know. I haven't done that in a couple of days. Well, actually, it's been a week.
I couldn't go to sleep right away because I was, I knew we had this meeting this morning, and I was kind of just thinking, kind of worrying, and stressing a little bit. Well, it was one of the things that I was praying about was like, what are you stressing about? He's going to do what he's going to do, and it's going to be all right. And so, kind of eased my mind a little bit there toward the end. I think I got to sleep around 1:30 or so finally. But I mean, that's one of the things I kind of want to talk about today was letting go and moving forward. What does that really look like? And how do we go about that? Because we all have these real world things that are happening, all these distractions that are going on in our lives. The lady we talked to today, she was talking about, kids being sick and her being sick and all this much stuff creeps into life, and God kind of gets put on the back burner, and we start worrying, and we start stressing, and kind of like it's a humanistic thing to do that, but how do we really let go and let God? Philippians 3:12, it says, not that I have already obtained it, this goal of being Christ-like, or have already been made perfect, but I actively press on, so that I may take hold of that perfection for which Christ Jesus took hold of and made me his own. So to be frank about it, we're all in a journey. We're all struggling with things that, when we realize how broken we really are, when we realize the mistakes that we have made and the choices that were wrong, and we decide to take action to right those wrongs, we at that point recognize and allow God to be in control. But to what extent?
Mm-hmm.
And I pray for this on a daily basis, that, Lord, your will be done. No matter what, I know whatever the outcome is going to be your outcome. So please allow me to relax and just let you work. Philippians was talking, as the scripture I just read was talking about Paul's move from his old self. I press on to take hold and make my own the mind of Christ. It means removing myself and being as Christ-like as possible. But in a real world instance, like, how do I do that? Just like last night, I was worried about this meeting because I wanted certain things to happen or whatever. Even though I was praying, God, your will be done. I know you're going to be in control. I was still worried. So what does it really look like to for real let go? And I think some of the things we talked about in past weeks, as far as perceptions and those types of things, I don't think that, you don't really fully let him take control. We let him take control of certain things.
I agree.
Like, Lord, I'm gonna let you take care of this.
But you can't have this one.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna keep this one over here. And it's so scary, and especially moving when you start, like, we use dating somebody as an example. Even though there are things that I used to look for or wanted or whatever, and now, those things have changed. The things I look for or whatever have changed. How I go about it may not necessarily change.
Right.
So I kind of stress and think and wonder and blah, blah, blah. But if it's of God, you don't need to. You just move through and don't worry about anything,
Well, I mean, that's really easier said than done. But you have to, when you catch yourself, letting yourself get out of God, when you let yourself get back into control, you just have to stop and actively say, wait. And I say that because, like yesterday, I woke up with a terrible spirit on me. And there was no reason why. None. But I felt ridiculously sad yesterday. And it just broke. And I couldn't shake it. I tried. I prayed before I got up. I did my Bible study, my worship music, everything that I normally do. And I just could not shake this, whatever it was. And ended up sending a message to my doctor. And I don't know, I was just like, I just don't know. And God, you just got to come and take this away. Maybe, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why. Just take it away. And then I sat there for probably 10 or 15 minutes and then it was just like it was gone. And I was like, okay, well. And then that's when I was able to start doing some work, and I started doing my work. And then I felt better because then I actually felt like I'd done something productive and I wasn't just sitting there in the house doing nothing. And so I felt better. But it was terrible yesterday morning. I was like, why does this keep happening?
I've gone through so many situations like that, those types of things. It can be crippling, everything could be going in a good direction, but then for whatever reason, I start to fall back into that. What am I doing? I'm nervous. I'm scared. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, and I think that those are times that we're supposed to be the most faithful. Those are the times that we are supposed to really just be like, step back, be like, take me out of the equation. This is all you. I'm here because of you. You're doing everything because you're allowing it to be done. And apparently I've forgotten that. So
I told my doctor, the last thing I told her was, I feel like my worth is in my work. And I'm not being productive in work, therefore I can't relax. I know that that's not the truth. However, it's a fight to keep the truth in the forefront of my brain every day. And I mean, that's just the way it is. I fight to keep that in my brain every day.
Well, and I think it's supposed to be a constant battle. Um, I don't think that anybody just gets it and stays having it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that that's why Jesus gave us the Holy Spirit to walk with us, to be with us, because we're not just going to get it. You know what I mean? And we're not just going to hold on to it. And Jesus was the only one that could do that. You know? It boggles my mind. It doesn't boggle my mind, but it's just so cool to think about being a perfect individual and then asking the Holy Spirit to come upon you. You know what I mean? How awesome is that? Like, we jack our lives all the way up and then ask, you know, and then have some semblance of peace and grace and mercy and all that come upon us after we're broken and jacked up, you know?
Right.
He was perfect.
Yes.
And then got that Holy Spirit. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's so crazy.
You know, it's so interesting, but our value is not in what we do or anything about us. Our value is in how he looks at us.
Right.
We are valued by him, okay? And that makes us valuable.
Right.
Whereas
I know that intellectually.
But I did the same thing back in the 80s. I worked at a radio station and I moved up to like general manager, and all of a sudden they sold the station. All of a sudden, where's my identity? It's all gone, right?
Right.
So I went through a slump that was like, well, who am I then?
Right.
Okay. But then after a long time, I finally realized I am valuable because he says I am,
Right.
not because of anything I could do.
Right.
And that changes your perspective of things.
It really does. And that's one thing. Being in different circles in life. In some circles, you know, I can be perceived as being super confident, I guess. And I think that comes from, I'm not confident in the situation or maybe even the setting, but I'm confident that it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks. I feel like I'm pleasing the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first and foremost. And that's what makes me confident. But I forget that.
Right.
You know, I forget that in other instances when the situation or the setting I'm not so confident in, and then I try to take over.
Mm-hmm.
And then that ultimately depletes my confidence. You know, if that makes any sense.
Well, we all have a bad case of human nature.
Right, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, and that brings up a point, you know, as we were talking to the lady this morning, as we try to build this brand or this ministry, we have to remember, you know, and I ask God for God's help to stay humble and not make the thing my identity. You know, that it's not about the show or me or Kay or whatever. It's about what God wants done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think once we take focus off His will and His plan, then that's when we take over and things start going astray.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were talking to the lady, it was like, of course, you know, we asked for sponsorships and things like that. But the ultimate thing is building a relationship. Because the Bible says we're supposed to be disciples, fishers of men. You know, our thing, it's not about, if He wants this to grow, He's going to grow it. It's not a thing that I have to do, you know, except just listen to Him.
Except what He's telling you to do.
Right. And so that's why it was important not to, I felt at peace when we left. There was no need to pursue anything, you know. God was like, you did what you did, and
I'll take it from here.
Right. Moving on.
Absolutely.
Moving on, you know.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because, you know, I talk about this a lot. God's not big on detail. You know, He may tell you to go here or go there or whatever, but He's not going to tell you what He's going to do with it. And understanding how powerful He is and how omnipotent He is.
I think if any of us actually we're able to look down the road and see where He's going to take you, you'd be like, oh, I can't do all of
Oh,
that.
yeah.
True,
Absolutely.
Okay.
true.
So he gives
Absolutely.
you a little at a time.
Little at a time, right.
True.
The thing is to always look in the hindsight and see where he's brought you from. That's the thing. And see how, know that was the path that he brought you through. Wow, that's my biggest, like this past year, there's so many outrageous changes in my life, for real, in a year's time. It's ridiculous. But he brought me through all of that. And it was all him talking in my ear the whole time. The whole time. I was like, wow, the whole time.
Anytime somebody says that phrase the whole time, y'all remember I'm sorry, but you remember like in Mrs. Doubtfire
Uh-huh.
when she finds out who Mrs. Doubtfire was? The whole time? The whole time. It's so funny. But yeah, you're completely right. You're completely right. And I know I'm guilty of missing that point sometimes, that it doesn't matter. Where I'm going is in God's hands because of where He has brought me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
What is faith? The substance of things unseen. Would it be
Faith is the substance of things unseen.
Right. And I am that. I am the substance of things that were unseen. Even a year ago. 2 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. I didn't see this happening.
Oh, no.
For sure. So that there has been a point of letting go and moving forward and letting God take control. Where my battle is that I need to relinquish more.
Sometimes we have to just do it spontaneously in the moment when we catch ourselves grabbing a hold again. I mean, really, make a conscious choice every morning to say, God, you're in control. I want to do your will. I want you to be in control. I want to start my day off with you. I want to have my whole day with you. But then even in the midst of life, we're like, oh, wait a minute. No.
Right.
In that moment, though, when we catch ourselves, we just have to learn to go.
Well, I think we're so used to it.
Right.
We're so used to trying to, when things happen, like I was telling a lady this morning, my mind immediately was like, man, I gotta get this, I gotta do this, blah, blah, and I can justify in my mind why I'm thinking that way, but that's just not the truth.
Right.
The truth is God's got it, and the outcome is going to be His.
Right.
No matter what I do, I could try as hard as I want. I could put everything toward this, and if He don't want it done, it ain't gonna be done. If He wants it done, it's gonna be done, regardless. But what you just said is, in the moment, we have to make the conscious choice. It's so true. It's our responsibility to allow the heart of God in us. In all things, you can't let it be over here and then not over here and blah, blah, blah. And that's part of the healing process.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's hard and it's tough. And it's something that I beat myself up personally about, because if I'm, why did I grab that back? I want you to do this. I don't want to do this. I've screwed myself up. I don't need to be doing this. I want you to do this. So, Lord, help me stop grabbing it again, because it's not mine to grab. So, but I have to do that every day, all day long. Every day, all day long. And I don't know if there'll ever be a time that I don't have to do that every day, all day long.
No, they won't. I mean, they won't. There's not going to be a time where that doesn't happen. For sure. That's what I was saying. Jesus is the only one that didn't.
Right.
And that's so crazy. If you think about it, you think about how stressed out the guy was to, first off, the sweat blood. You understand how much stress it takes to bust blood capillaries in your brain, in your head, to be able, it's huge. And in the midst of that, I get stressed out. I'm ready to just be like, screw it, on to it, no, done. And in the midst of the weight of the world being on Jesus, He says, Lord, I'm asking you if there's any other way, please provide a way. But in the end of it, your will be done.
Right.
And that's like, if He can do that,
right,
surely I can get over a flat tire.
Right.
Well, what we're talking about here is that we're looking to try to be perfect.
Right.
Okay. And he knows we're not.
Right.
And he loves us anyway, even if we miss. You know,
I mean, that's true.
even if we're trying our hardest and we still don't get it right, he still looks at us and says, I love you anyway.
Right.
I mean,
But how do
how
we
does
let
that
go of trying to be perfect? Like, how do you let go of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, what you're saying is totally on point, and I totally get that. It's a humanistic thing. Like the reason people look at church, quote unquote, church the way they do is because they think that is the perception.
Right.
Church is perfection,
Right.
when it's just not the case.
Oh, no.
Church is supposed to be love and understanding and empathy and those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason the church portrays that is because we portray that.
Yeah.
We keep striving for perfection. And a lot of times in that search for perfection, all we do is find flaws in others.
And you know, the crazy thing about it is perfection for me is my own perfection. It's not what you would say is perfect about me, and vice versa. Your perfection for you is your perception of it. It's not what I would say is perfect about you. So how could we ever we could never grasp it anyway. Why do we fight with it? Why? We would never be able to get it, ever.
I think it's part of the sin nature that we have as human beings. We have flaws in our life because of human nature and sin.
Right.
And even when we're saved, we're still human.
Right.
Okay, so we still have the vulnerability to fail along the way.
Right.
So we're so afraid of failing that we seek perfection.
Right. That's true.
So we can say, well, I'm okay.
Right.
Okay. No, you're not. Okay.
And you know what? It's okay to not be okay. So how do you grasp that? You know, let's get a hold of that. It's okay to not be okay. He knows you're not okay. He knows who you are. He knew you wasn't going to be okay.
And he loves us anyway.
And he loves us anyway.
Right.
Right. So it's like, how do you keep that? I mean, you just have to remember. For me, that's what I just have to do. It's like, it's okay. It's okay to relax for one day. You know, the world is not going to fall apart because you're sitting in this chair. Okay, chill out. It's okay.
I mean, that's true. It's very true. And like, I wonder, you know, we all want how the song goes. You know, we want when we meet them, we want to say, you know, well done,
good and faithful son.
Servant. You know, and, I think that we strive real hard, but he's glorified in our mess,
in our weakness.
Yes. So I think we have to be okay with that. Like, we have to come to terms with, I'm never going to get it all the way right. You know, I need to keep trying to,
and you know what it is too, Frank,
myself,
for us and our show and what we do, our ministry, it is because we're not perfect, and we admit that we're not perfect.
Who's not perfect?
Shush. And we admit it, that's why we can minister to others, is because we know that we're not, and we struggle with it every day, but we know we're not.
Right.
And that's why we can be something to somebody else, is because, hey, dude, you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like I like to say, man, we're all broken. That's how I like it, Tim. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So what are some things that motivate us to move forward? Letting go of us and moving forward in Christ. What are some things that motivate that movement?
I don't know. For me, it's just knowing and helping others, I guess. For me, is what motivates. I've always been a helping hand, you know, always just wanted to give back. And but I want to give back in the right way. I don't want to give back in the worldly way. I really don't care what the world has to offer. I really don't. So that's the thing, is like, if I don't feel like I'm giving back, that's when I start feeling depressed in myself or whatever is going on. That's when I think, oh, you need to get up and do something, you know. And even though taking care of Dalton is technically giving back, you know, or any little small thing, if I don't feel like, to me, I'm giving back, then.
But you know, it's kind of back to what you said, Frank, about when he says, well done.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about the things he asked you to do, not necessarily something we thought about to do.
That's huge, Jeff.
Okay? I mean, we could come up with all kinds of great ideas, but they may not be God's ideas.
Right.
And so that's what he's saying, well done, the good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
So you're serving him, not creating or fixing things that God didn't ask you to fix.
Right.
And that brings up a huge point. I think that, a lot of times people are motivated by what it looks like on social media, how many people am I reaching, how much am I growing my congregation, how much money's coming in. That motivates a lot of people. There's a guy that I know that's I don't know. That's I don't want to judge anybody. I think that a lot of people are pushed by that exact thing, and that becomes their identity.
Mm-hmm.
So my prayer is that I just do what he wants, and I'm not motivated. But again, that's what I was going back to. It's not really about, okay, let's be friends. This is a platform that was given to us
Right.
by God, based on whatever he's going to do with it.
Right.
My journey is not based off, okay, let's be friends. My journey has to be based off getting closer to him.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, he's going to reveal things, and different things will come in my path that I will be equipped to handle. And through our ministry, so many people can get reached and be saved, or at least get closer to him to where he can clean the fish. You know what I mean? That's if we're fishers of men, we just catch them.
You clean them. Hey, thank goodness for that, because I don't like cleaning fish, no way.
For sure. Scales everywhere.
Oh, done that before. Yeah, been there, done that. Not fun. No, thank you.
But yeah, I think my motivation's about the same. I know that I've been super selfish in the past, and when I think about when I really get closer to him, and when I get in the Word and things, and read what he says and how he acted and how people responded, I think my motivation is just to be a better ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
It's for our platform, we reach a lot of people. A lot of people see us. I told you the story about the guy at Ruby Tuesdays, that just stopped me out of nowhere because I was smiling and happy. Somebody's always watching. Mm-hmm. And I think that is my motivation, knowing that. But the struggle comes in where I try to alleviate myself from that and not do things that weren't asked of me, and try to go over and beyond what is needed and those types of things, and overcompensate for lost time.
That's human. Yeah.
Right, for sure. But the motivation definitely comes from the next person and God's people and being a disciple.
Oh, well, absolutely. Because, it makes us feel good when we see that we've done something good for somebody else, that we've done through or for him. It's like the blessing bags. When we did the blessing bags, how great did that feel? To me, it felt awesome, because I heard his voice tell me, this is what I want you to do. And then I followed through and did what he wanted me to do. And it wasn't much, but it's
what he asked.
It was what he asked me to do. Right. And it felt good in the moment, and so I think that's where, for me, I strive for that feeling good in the moment a lot. And he's like, chill out. It's okay.
You're gonna be all right.
I'm like, but no, I'm not doing anything for you. He's like, yeah, it's okay.
Sometimes you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
You are doing something, but you're not aware of it.
Well,
I was talking to Dion when we had the Monday show, and he was telling me some things, and he kind of used the reference of a pastor friend of his that has like 5 million people, 5 million man congregation, whatever. And he said, yeah, this dude has this, and what do I have, basically? And I was like, dude, honestly, you probably reached way more than 5 million people. You just don't realize the degrees of separation when somebody hears something and they pass it on to somebody else and they pass it on
Dion
to
beats
somebody else.
himself up, and I'm like, dude, you need to stop because you are an inspiration to me.
He's an
If
inspiration
nothing
to me. I
else,
tell him that all the
you're
time.
my
I'm
mentor.
like, dude,
I'm
if
like,
it wasn't
you
you-
teach me so much.
For sure. Well, and that's kind of Jeff's point. I mean, when I did that Bible study, it didn't even hit me until afterward. When I did that Bible study in jail, there was 4 people in front of me, but there were 76 other people sleeping, or around, not a part of, but within earshot.
Right,
So who knows what God's going to do with that?
right,
So the effect, we need to totally forget about the instant gratification.
Right.
Like he's getting his effect
Yeah.
across.
Right.
He's getting done
Right.
what he needs to get done.
Right.
It's just our perceptions
Right.
of how it's getting done.
Oh,
I don't know that I could. You're not going to satisfy 5 million people all the time sitting in front of.
well, look,
or sitting behind a pulpit.
Jesus didn't satisfy everybody. You know what I mean?
We talked about
He
that
did
on
not
Monday.
make everybody happy. So why would we think that we can? God can't. He can. He don't. Jesus didn't. Why do we think we can? Are we any better than he is? Maybe just my moment of yesterday or Monday was to talk to Kathy more and get to know her more, to grow that relationship, because we have a very similar story, and she's a few years older than me. So she's done been through what I've been through. So what I'm going through. So she can be like, hey, and maybe that was all that was needed for Monday and Tuesday. And I thought there was more needed to be done. He's like, no, it's okay. Chill
It's a
out.
wrap. You're good.
Right.
You did good. You did good.
Right.
And that was like whenever I went and visited Sarah in the hospital, and I was upset with myself because I went there. He totally told me to go there. I didn't want to go there. But I was upset with myself because I didn't pray with him. And I was like, I didn't do whatever. And he's like, you did what I said. You know what I mean? I didn't tell you to pray. So where'd you go?
Right.
Whatever that means. I don't know, but I think that's kind of what we've been talking about.
I think our ability to understand what he's wanting is in the closeness we are to him. If we're closer to him, we're going to hear better,
Right.
and then we're going to know it's maybe even exactly what to do.
Right.
Whereas if he says go, but you don't listen to part 2,
Right.
okay, you don't know why you were going, but you went,
Right.
but maybe you missed it on the certain thing because closeness, and that closeness can be changed by being distracted by all kinds of things in the world,
Well, it's like that first show when you couldn't be here because of Sarah. I was totally skipping out. And on the way, he was like, no, go get there. And I'm like, okay, I'm scared to death. How do I do this? He's like, don't worry. Just go. I've got you.
And remember, you got a response.
I was gonna
on
say,
Facebook.
Yes.
what that lady
Somebody
said.
said
Yes,
that was
this
really
is
important.
exactly what I needed today. Well, thank you. And so that makes it better for me when I get when I feel like, yeah, thank you.
Validation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's another thing too. We kind of talked about perceptions or whatever. I think we need to try to see the validation where it's at, what I mean, and not look for it somewhere else.
Right.
And that's a lot of things. Like, Dion wants the congregation or these people or whatever. He knows in his mind he affects people. He knows he does. He gets phone calls all the time. I ask him stuff. You ask him stuff. Like, it's a godly man, dude. Like,
He is a very godly man.
what I mean? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
We can't overlook the gratification that we are getting. You know what I mean? Like I find gratification just in the fact that I don't want to make dumb decisions because I get to do this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought that way before.
Right.
And not gotten closer if he hadn't grabbed a hold of me the way he did.
Right.
I think that to me is super gratification. Oh, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a church. It doesn't have to be, a club or even radio station. It doesn't have to be any of that. You know, I'm blessed to have what I have right now. You know? And he's just waiting to give us more blessings. I believe.
Just keep on doing what we're doing in His name. Just keep on going. Just don't let it go. You know, don't let the human stuff get in the way. We just have to keep our focus on, are we going to stay committed to Him? And as long as we keep our focus that we're going to stay committed to Him, no matter what, then that's where it all lies, right there.
It comes in there.
Is, are we going to stay committed to Him no matter what? Okay.
That's Romans 12 too. I mean, we use this verse quite often. Don't be conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's a continual thing.
Every day.
And I don't think, I think when I don't know what pastors mean when they preach on it a lot of times, but it's very rarely said that it's an ongoing transformation.
Right.
It's an ongoing renewing. We've spent, I'm 36, so I've spent the majority of that learning certain ways, doing certain things, blah, blah, blah. You don't just turn that around in a day, a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Right. It took you 36 years to learn that. It's going to take you 36 to unlearn it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's the way it's been told to me. It took you 44 to learn this, honey. It's not going to stop in a minute. Right. It's going to take you to unlearn it. You have to work at it to unlearn it.
Everything that we need has been instilled and put in us, but we've learned ways to cover up things and blah, blah, blah. You have to get to a certain point in life before God can reveal this thing to you,
right.
And then you're learning how to do that new, and that's going to kind of change some other things and blah, blah, blah. It takes a while. So letting go will, I think, I don't want to say speed up the transformation, but it will aid the transformation.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Once you let go and you move forward in Christ, that will definitely assist the transformation. Trying to hold on to, I don't want to do that, Lord. Finances is one for me. I've literally just here lately been tithing, the correct amount. I've been given what I thought I could give, what I could spare, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's some times where he'll just be like, it's mine. So
Right.
what are you doing, And so I just trust, I'm either going to blow this money on stupid marketing employees at the gas station and buy a candy bar I'm not going to eat, or I'm going to give him what's his and watch him bless it, and whether it's through me or through something else, he's definitely come through. I've never had to go without, you know what I mean? I've done without things that I thought I needed, but I've never been without what I needed.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. And more often than not, it's been, especially here lately, it's been more than what I needed. But part of that renewing and transformation is understanding what I really need. What do you really need? Mm-hmm. I need to give the money that I'm supposed to be giving. That's what I need to do.
Right.
I need to start really trusting and just listen closer, get closer, all those things. For sure.
I think it's partly because we are human, and because we deal with humans every day, and we get let down by humans every day. That's where the trust issue comes in, because God is this thing that we can't see, we can't touch, we can't feel with our tangible hands, So why is it's not easy to just trust something?
That's faith.
And right, exactly. You have to have faith to know that He's going to take care of it, and He just never fails to take care of it. When okay, I can't do it. You've got to do this. Like this move for me, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I can't do this. You have to take care of me. I don't have a choice. I can't do this by myself. You better take care of me. And knowing that He is, and He has, totally has. So it's just great.
Flipping phenomenal.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. He's always right on time. For sure. So I mean, there's just there's always an area where we can let go and let God. It was today's verse said something about, if you can't think of an area where you can let go of or whatever, that to me that means you just need to dig deeper and you need to seek further, because He'll reveal it to you. Joel 2:12, even now declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. And fasting is one thing that I've never really done. I'm a fat kid, so I love to eat, and it's one of those things that I've never really quite understood, and we oftentimes shy away from things we don't understand.
Right.
So that's another area where I can dive deeper and probably get more clarity on life.
Right.
Once I enter into that thing with Him, and just know that He's going to take care of whatever through that time.
And tying that into prayer too, prayer and fasting.
Right.
Because you're communicating with Him as you get away from the flesh and you start thinking more toward the Spirit at that time. Then the prayer side, He can communicate with you what He's trying to tell you in that. So you're getting away from the flesh by fasting. It doesn't have to be food. It could be fasting of anything. It could be fasting of television or whatever.
A true fast.
And get away from the things of this world and look toward the spiritual side. And then as you pray to Him, He can start talking to you about anything that He's trying to change or fix or share with you to show you what you're going to be doing or whatever He's trying to get done at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. Where did just for some theology, I'm not really sure. Where did the fasting thing come from? Is that something that Jesus did Himself? Did it come from people? Was it Old Testament where they?
I think there's been fasting for a long time, but of course Jesus fasting in the wilderness, that was
40 days.
40
That's
days.
we're going to do that right now, right?
But it doesn't have But it doesn't have to be 40.
Right.
That was rare.
Right.
But that's probably where people started picking it up. That He did, because you're trying to model after Jesus and do the things He did. So that may be where most people found it. But it's just a matter of setting yourself apart from the things of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping your mind set more on the things of God. And when you do that, you close off that inner part of you to the world, and you look to Him, and then He can start funneling things down into you, the things that you need.
Right.
See, things that I tried to look at, and this is where Dion comes in really cool with me, is to think of life in heaven. Forget about life on earth. What is it going to be like in heaven? It's not going to be just floating around on them white clouds and doing, whatever. And if that is the case, then that's super disappointing.
No, right?
So finding my identity here and understanding who I am here is so I can know and understand who I will be in the day to come for eternity. And that's a major thing for me. Major thing for me is because I need to know what I'm supposed to do, and then so in finding who I am, what is my characteristics, what is the gifts that He gave me, who am I? And when I figure out that, really, I think that's when I'm going to be not so crybaby every day.
Again, I think it goes back to the same thing. As you delve to get closer to Him, He's going to reveal those things.
Right.
When we're way over here sometime, we're not going to hear it. If He's saying it, we're not listening.
Right.
Okay, But as we head toward him,
Mhm.
he's going to reveal all of that
Mhm.
to you in time
Right. Right.
when
Well,
you need to know.
And that's one thing too. Like you can't live a life separated from Christ, and then something bad happened, and you call out to him and expect it just to be. Now, sometimes there were people in the Bible that Jesus healed. I'll venture to say, I mean, like they knew about him, they knew about his healing power. They didn't really know who he was, if that makes sense. Some people in the Bible just said, "This guy's going around healing. I need some healing." Blah blah blah. I think at times everybody knows who Christ is because people pray, "God help me," blah blah blah. But to your point, if you're not close to him, you're not going to really hear how he's trying to help you.
Right.
And if you can't hear him, that's when a lot of people write it off. Well, he didn't answer my prayer.
Right.
Like, well, he did. One, it probably wasn't the way you wanted to hear it. And two, you were too far away to really understand what you're saying.
Right.
It's on you. You got to take that personal responsibility to take a responsibility to allow the heart of God in you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start to feel. Then you start to hear. Then you start to understand.
And again, it's a process, like you
Sure.
said before. You're not going to pick up everything the first time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you're
And
already
we
set.
really should thank God for that too, because I don't think we could. Well, he says we couldn't handle it all at one time.
That's what he was
There's
saying.
no
Like,
way.
if we saw
Right.
where he was taking us down the road, we'd
say,
say, "I'll run."
Right. Right.
Well, remember Moses? I mean, he said, "Go talk to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go."
I can't talk to him.
I can't even talk. He stumbled with his words,
Right.
and he didn't know what to say. He said, "Tell him I am sent you."
Right.
So it goes back to him again.
Right. Absolutely.
Very
It
cool.
is so cool, though.
It is so cool. It's so, I can just every time I think of Noah, man, it's just so funny to understand this guy. I can just picture this guy with a bottle in his hand, a hammer, and some nails, and people just walking by. I mean, how long did it take him to build this boat?
40 years.
40 years. So in 40 years, I mean,
100,
Noah,
140.
140. So Noah didn't just like hear the word from God, put the bottle down, and say, "I'm done."
Right.
You know what I mean? It was a process.
Right.
You know, and so through this, people are looking at him and calling him crazy and all that. It was a process. He didn't just stop being of the world, but he listened to God and he started the process.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, his sons regenerated the earth. Right?
Well, he may have thought in the beginning, "That's crazy too."
Right.
Right.
You want me to do what?
What? Exactly. Well, and all the trees had to grow to this rot up and everything. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
And there had not been any rain.
Right.
So what are we building a boat for?
Right.
Right.
I don't even know what that is.
That's so crazy. So yeah, it was a process to get closer and to understand. Noah had to let go of self a little bit. He had to let go and move forward with what God was telling him to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bible is jam packed.
I think, and all of them stories, I think maybe that's one reason why too we get kind of the way we do is because they seem like they were instantaneous but when we break it down and no, it wasn't. It was a process for them too. It took time for them too. You know, Paul was 3 years away from everybody to relearn who he needed to be who he was.
Right.
You know?
God's in control. Gotta do it.
Absolutely.
You gotta let go and let God. Keep moving forward, man. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching and paying attention to us. Shout out to Flip Daddies down in Newport, Refinery Nazarene Church in Maysville. Who am I forgetting? New Reality. New Hope. Remember, April 19th, they're carrying the cross through the streets of Newport. We're going to end up at the World Peace Bell with the message, April 19th, starting at 11 o'clock, 941 Central Avenue. This has been another episode of OK, Let's Be Frank, here on 1320 AM WCBG. Tune in Monday at 11.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay, let's be frank.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Yeah. So, Oh, Marlene Bay joined in.
Thank you guys for listening. Tune in Monday at 11 o'clock. We'll be back. Thank you guys so much. More partners with OKaye. Let's Be Frank. Please contact us via Messenger or contact us somehow, some way on here. We've got various platforms. So type in the name, you'll find us. Thank you guys so much. That's how to spell it right behind me. Okay, let's be frank.